Hey everyone, John Moran here, and today we're going to be talking about what metric you should not be focusing on when trying to grow and scale your business profitably. So ROAS has been the benchmark for majority of agencies, business owners, you know, independent marketers, freelancers, whatever you call it. But typically ROAS has been the area for people to say, this is the campaign's, return on ad spend and what am I spending and what am I making? The bad part is that does not take into consideration the difference between new and existing customers, new and existing users, omni-channel traffic overlap, things like organic traffic and email traffic that is maybe taking credit for, not taking credit for the good work or bad work that your paid media traffic campaigns are producing. There's a whole host of things that we can dive into on another series where we're talking about what metrics you should be watching. And that will cover like NCAC, NMR, NAOV, eCPNV versus CPC, all the good stuff. But today I want to give you a really good example about why in-app ROAS is not indicative of true success. And even as we enter into the age of the loss of third-party cookies, the loss of data attribution, especially if the sales cycle or time lag is too long, where we're picking up more on the closer to the purchase event, but further away from where the interest was gathered. All of the ways that we are currently measuring as an industry are wrong. And we are essentially lying to clients or lying to our boss if I'm working inside of a business in a marketing position. And something that I think is good to understand regardless of platform, whether it be Meta, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Google, whatever it may be, YouTube. This is a YouTube example today. And understanding how to become good marketers again. Kind of, taking off our measurement hat and putting on our marketing hat when we're in our marketing platforms. We want to use our marketing platforms as a marketing platform. We do not want to use our marketing platforms as a measurement platform. We will be consistently chasing our tail by taking these metrics that the in-app platform gives us as face value. Here's what I mean. So this company here is a company that sells a product that is about $40 that is not a fairly unique product. It's not a product that is, new or special. It's cool. And it's kind of, a neat feature, a part of the product, but the product is not anything that's like, groundbreaking. So the way that we were having to kind of cut through the noise and really build the brand is by going to top of funnel awareness. And the campaigns here you're going to see are blurred out. The names are blurred out. This is to protect the client identity, but the measurement is going to be really very apparent. Now, what you'll see here on the screen, this is a YouTube campaign. This is a YouTube campaign. This is a Performance Max campaign. And if you've been following my teachings, you know I am anti-Performance Max when we're talking about trusting this campaign and identifying that it's bringing good scalable cold traffic. And this is a great example as to why over attributes and underperforms. So from the time period of December 1st, 2022 through March 28th of 2023, compared to the December 1st, 2023 to March 28th, 2024. So year over year performance. If I even do the previous period, you'll see it's fairly similar. We did spike up and we did scale up ad spend very, very, very heavy. So this company just as this is their back end metrics, which is everything that you should be watching solely. And that'll be a different video. You can see that year over year, there's not been much growth. It got better, but nothing groundbreaking. And then launching this strategy, you can see that year over year went from 40,000 up to 260,000. And we've been actually ramping it down because we end up selling out of stock and we're now on pre-order with like a 3-month out before our product lands. So you'll see that this is not dropping because we're scaling traffic. We're actually pulling back on traffic and we're pulling back on orders just so we don't outrun what we can fulfill in our inventory. So during this time period, you'll see this in just the previous time period, August 4th, November 30th, compared to December 1st, March 28th, we put an additional $155,000 in ad spend. And we took our YouTube campaign from 20,000 up to 155. Now, Performance Max just gained an additional 10,000 from 5,300 up to 16,000. Now, if you're measuring ROAS, you're going to see that Performance Max went from 173 up to 631, a 458% increase in return on ad spend. Now, however, YouTube just went from 88 up to 110, so a 22% increase. So when you're looking at ROAS, you're saying, wow, Performance Max does way better than YouTube, right? But because we knew at the time and know that ROAS is not the leading indicator of success, my campaigns that we try to grow and scale, typically, the lower the ROAS, the colder the traffic. Yes, it also could mean the less quality traffic, but that's why we measure differently. Media efficiency ratio, NCAC, those type of things that we'll be discussing in another video. But here's a really good indicator that Performance Max will take credit for the top of funnel and new customer awareness and new customer visits, and try to interject itself in the path that is going to be closer to the buying journey, so that Google tricks you with a really healthy ROAS, so you start dumping in more and more and more money into it. Google is a publicly traded for-profit business. They want more money. And because they know that typically marketers measure ROAS, they are going to lean into that. If you measure it differently, they can't trick you. But if they can trick you by measuring, hey, look at how much more ROAS you're getting, usually the gut reaction is, okay, dump more money into there. But then you have to look at how in the world does a $10,000 increase in Performance Max produce 1,000 more conversions and then produce, for that 10,000, 91,000 more in revenue. So a 200% increase in cost and a 10x increase in conversion value. Whereas in YouTube, we put 664% more cost and 857%. Looks like we're hitting a point of diminishing returns, right? Well, that's because YouTube has horrible attribution. People don't click on TV commercials. And that's pretty much what YouTube is it's a TV commercial, for lack of a better sense. That's how people engage with that. And when you're looking at the ad event type, the differences between clicks and engage view conversions still looks pretty healthy. We can see that we have $156,000 in click attributed conversions, but only $15,000 in engage view conversion. This metric also isn't true. This is extremely hard for Google to interpret. Why? Because it usually is closer to the end of the buying journey is when an engage view conversion can be recorded, which means just like how Meta can do a 1 and 3 day engage view, a view attributed conversion, it's closer to when it can identify that. So for YouTube top of funnel, I usually gauge by saying, do we have a healthy amount of clicks? That is my first indicator that this audience is actually engaging it. And then I measure it by media efficiency ratio. And I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. If I was to see that I am hemorrhaging cash, like usually you would be fired as an agency if you were happily walking into a meeting and slapped down a report that says, I made you a 110 ROAS. They would fire you because there's not enough money to even pay for COGS or pay for the agency. Even looking at top line and inside of Google, I only have a 1.55 ROAS. That's also really bad. I went from 105 to 155, and I was confidently dumping in, $160,000 more into that. Why? Well, when you look at a $155,000 increase in cost, and that cost then generated a $560,000 increase in net sales, our net sales went up 655% for an increase of cost of 585%. So now we're looking at media efficiency ratio, all cash in, all cash out. This tells a much different story. 585% increase in cost and 655% increase in revenue. That's better than what was happening before when we were talking about blended ROAS, which is just media efficiency ratio. That's the same kind of term. Goes a little bit deeper, but we can get into that in another series of video. But if I was to look at media buying and trusting Performance Max, man, YouTube is not doing good. It's barely breaking even in terms of ad spend. We got to pull back, and we're missing the boat. And we're saying, wow, you dumped $155,000 into a campaign that was getting 100% ROAS and then only went up to 152. You lost me a whole bunch of money. Now, this is a good use case to share how Performance Max over attributes and YouTube under attributes, but when you're measuring the wrong metric, which is ROAS or ROAS in app, you're going to make the wrong decision. Now, layer this into running YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, Meta, email, SEO, direct traffic, all of those things together, and then scaling those and then trying to measure this in app as in only ROAS. You can see this simple, pretty much one channel is screwing up. When you layer in 7 more, all hell breaks loose, basically. So that's why measuring differently, which will be a new video that we're going to be discussing about the right metrics to measure and why. This gives you a really good indicator that if you're measuring in-app or you're measuring ROAS, you're not actually measuring because you're using the marketing engine as a measurement tool. This scenario, we're using the marketing engine as a marketing engine because we know that a good message to a good audience at scale while it holds will deliver profitable results, regardless of what Google tells us. So I'm John Rabbit Tier 11. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of these. These are fun.